Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dennis. So today I'm going to go over a couple of things I mentioned in a previous video about the i7-11700K. Basically the RGB cable, where it had to reach so far across the motherboard, which you needed some way to fix that. So that's what the video is about. Plus I also mentioned the pins, how you can damage them, which ones are easily damaged and which ones are not. You'll see that in this video. So let's go have a look. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is the RGB cable. So the RGB cable that came with the system reaches across, and you can see how it basically covers over the graphics card slot until it finally connects. So the problem with that, of course, is it should be longer, or if you had like an RGB slot somewhere else on the motherboard, then you can eliminate this kind of problem. But there's an alternative to this as well. So the alternative, I'm just going to show you here. Now I got this from EK water blocks, but it's basically EK-RGB Extension Cable, a 510 millimeter. So when you get it, this is what you're going to get. So you're going to get a cable that has two RGB connectors, and on one of them we're going to have this little thing here. Okay, so then you're going to have that, which you're going to insert into these holes. So you're just going to put it in there. All right. Then once it's in there, it's all good to go. So what do we do now? So we take this out. We take our extension, which is now going to plug in here. Okay. Now make sure you line your arrows up. Okay, so your voltages are remaining the same. It's going to give you the extra length you need so you can tuck the cable out of the way. And then on this end, it just goes over your pins again. Again, making sure you line up this arrow with the 12 volt. Okay, so when you put it on, and it just goes on just like that. Okay, and now you can tuck this cable away. There's multiple ways you'll be able to hide it now. All right, so you got lots of room to play with. But one of the other things I mentioned was your CPU slot and talked about not touching it. So I'm going to show you an actual Intel CPU slot and why not touching, and why you shouldn't touch the pins. And curious enough, the AM5 motherboards that are going to be coming out, something I just saw today, they're going to use basically the same kind of installation procedure that you use for Intel systems. They're going to have the pins on the motherboard instead of on the CPU, which will help eliminate the problem I had where you buy it, take it out of the box, and the pins are bent and you're done. Now, AMD was kind enough to provide me a new one, but they don't have to do that. All right, I just happen to get very lucky with going back and forth with them. So let's show you the pins. Now, the other thing just to mention, though, is the AM5 socket, the new ones that they're showing for the CPU. Instead of having your traditional triangle, they're switching it out so it has the little like divots on the side, or cutouts, if you will. So that when you put it in, you can't possibly put it in the wrong way. Right? Just keep that in mind, just giving you that as general information. But let's have a look at an Intel CPU and what happens if you touch the pins. Okay, so here's a close-up. I know the motherboard's dirty. I would certainly not be doing this to a new motherboard. And all your pins are here. You can see them now. But here's what happens if I touch them. But on the older ones, actually they didn't really bend very easy. But if you bend these pins, all right, it's going to be really difficult to put them back to the way they were. See, just touching that. See how easy that was? Now, so these are not as easy to damage. Just keep that in mind. Those don't damage quite as easy. These, you touch them the wrong way, they're gonna have problems. All right. So again, it's not easy, so it's not likely it's gonna happen too easy. But see that? All those pins are now bent just from me just rubbing my finger across it. And can you repair it? Maybe, but I certainly want to be the one trying. So something to be aware of, because if you're an AMD fan, or even if you're not, and you decide to go with the AM5 processors, you're going to be encountering similar things like this. So again, you have to really touch it to do any kind of damage to it. Just don't do that and you'll be fine. Everything will be copacetic. Can I bend these pins back? Maybe. It'd be very, very difficult, and certainly on this motherboard, not worth the effort. They're not worth the trouble. So there you go. RGB extension cables. It's the EK-RGB Extension Cable 510mm from EK Waterblocks. And you can also get addressable RGB extension cables as well, by the way. And what happens if you just inadvertently push some of these pins? The damage it can cause. All right, so that's it. So very short video, simply because I had really no time to do anything I really wanted to do. We had a power outage for the entire long weekend and beyond. Which some people still don't have power back. It was a whole thing. Anyway, if you like the video, hit that like. If you don't, you know what to do. Hit that bell for notifications for videos as to come up in the future. If you're new here, think about subscribing. And there's a thanks button on all videos now. So if you want to show your appreciation for anything, maybe not this one, maybe other ones, who knows. And of course, there's the join button if you want to support the channel long term. That's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, of course, leave it in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a good one. Bye-bye.